Hi everyone, welcome to the Finance Story, a finance-focused career insight platform. Our topic for today is, how big is the opportunity for Indian CA firms in today's economy? And to help us understand the opportunities, we have with us Sunil Sharma sir. He's a former CEO of Haribhakti and now the founder of Radisson Consulting. Sir, thank you so much for joining in.
Thank you. Same here.
Yes.
Pleasure.
Thanks, sir. So, today I'm really excited about this conversation because, there are so many people who want to get into CA practice. They want to scale it up, right? Because India is really growing. There's so much of curiosity as to, how can everyone be a part of it and make the most of it, right? So, you're the perfect person, to help us answer all our questions. So, sir, first, can you tell us a little bit about your journey? From what I know, you were with Haribhakti since 1988, for almost 24 years plus. Okay. And I know in 2012 you founded Radisson Consulting, which is your firm. But can you rewind back to 1988 and
Okay.
tell us
Okay.
about your journey?
So, uh, thank you, Shante. I'm a qualified accountant. I qualified in 1987, completed my MBA from NMIMS, and completed my company secretary work. And I joined Haribhakti and Company on 1st July 1988. And the reason I joined Haribhakti because I found Mr. Haribhakti very different. And I had 4 industry jobs, including the Aditya Birla Group, and I thought I'm cut out for professional life. And I found Mr. Haribhakti very dynamic, and that's the reason I decided to join him. Little knowing much about what the profession was in store with me. And my first job was, you know, doing investigation work for a regulator. And at the age of 24, I worked with the regulators, and that was a very good, unique opportunity. But going forward, I think my biggest defining moment has been, transforming myself from being an executor to a team builder to being getting clients and then scaling the firm. So I moved from assurance to tax to out to corporate finance to risk advisory, head of practice development, chief operating officer, and CEO of BDO. And we became BDO in 2008. So 2008 to 2012, I was CEO of BDO India. And it was a spectacular journey for me. I learned skills of, I think a good professional needs 4 skills. First, he should be a subject matter expert. Second, he should be ability to build teams. Third, ability to build clients and ability to scale. And these are the 4 defining skills a good professional needs. And you need to build on this, and that has been my experience. And I call myself not FCA, I call myself futuristic change accelerator.
Wow.
And you need to accelerate change in the marketplace. And skills of probity in public life and ensuring accountability and commitments to your stakeholders, clients, your colleagues is very important as a professional. So that's where it's very quickly about my story in the past.
That's
I've
amazing.
enjoyed my journey.
That's amazing, sir. So I will dig in a little bit. Okay, so when you were earlier working in the corporate world, okay, and then in 1988, at the age of 24, as you mentioned, right, you started with Hari Bhakti and Company. Okay, so can you tell us? You said you like the dynamism of I guess Shailesh sir, right? That's what you're saying, right? So
Absolutely.
like,
Yes.
so was it a big firm there? Like, how did you decide? From the corporate world, right, where you could grow in the corporate ladder. Back then it was like, wow, the corporate world was a big deal, right? So how did you decide to make that switch, and why, this firm? What did you see?
No, very interesting question because I took a 50% salary cut at that time. And my salary in the corporate was double what I got in Haribhakti. Companies just started intern. I think what I liked, one of the things which I always thought was, bottleneck in the bottle is always at the top of the bottle. So you need, if you know the right person whom you are going to work with, if you get along with him or her, I think that makes and breaks you. So people don't join organization, people join leaders. So I found Mr. Haribhakti's dynamism, his thought process, his ability to think out of the box as a professional drove me to take up that job. And more importantly, I think corporate job is you need to rise and keep working and rise within the ranks. I thought this was a fast and surest way of scaling. If you have this metal with you, you can cut corners and you can move fast. And that's the reason I chose Mr. Haribhakti, not the corporate world.
Wow.
Because if
But
somebody wants to accelerate change, he can move fast. Depends on what.
and were you okay with the 50% salary cut? I mean, going, it was a little backward, right? At least back then, there was no startup concept of salary cut, and all of those aspects were not popular. So, how was it?
35 years ago, I took a salary cut. And
Yep.
I can relate myself to Mr. Aditya Puri, and because I like to read such people. I am Mr. Deepak Parekh, chairman of SDFC. He's my mentor, personal mentor. I meet him every 2 months, and I read about Mr. Aditya Puri. He took his salary cut and moved from being managing director of Citibank Malaysia to head SDFC Bank in India at 1/5 of his salary. And I said, oh, we all did the same thing.
Amazing.
It's on you what you want to do in life. I think money is not an important motivator. First is you get your basics right. What's your goal, purpose, and what's your objective in life is. If you want to build yourself as a brand, then it's not salary is not important. You need to work first to achieve that purpose.
So as a person, you were looking for long term growth. You were looking for something which is more challenging. You knew the corporate world wasn't for you, and you saw the leadership. You knew that Shailesh sir had that spark in him, which had high chances of success, right? But there was no assurance in it. You just it was all on probability.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think there was some gut feel and the intuition that if I've given a challenge and I can make it. I think all of us as professionals have this, but I think it's important that to identify the right time and push yourself, push your envelope to go forward in that. And I think Indian CAs are groomed in a tough environment. They need to push the envelope in a hard way. It's on you how you push yourself, and the only motivator is yourself. If you don't motivate yourself, you'll never succeed. So I thought I must do it myself rather than waiting
Amazing.
for opportunity to come into me. I seized the
Okay.
opportunity.
Okay. So it was a quick decision. You saw the opportunity, you took the decision, and you moved on. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay, so can you take us, like, what was the size of the firm when you joined it, and how did you guys grow and scale? Because I remember when I was doing my articles like in 2011, 2010, BDO Haribhakti was like a very big brand name. It was with the big fours, right? It was such a solid brand name. So can you take us a little bit through that journey and what
I'll share with you.
scale?
When I didn't know these numbers, so when I joined Haribhakti and Company, it was a family managed firm. But Mr. Haribhakti had his thought process that he wanted to build it different. He gave me a free hand, and the free hand didn't come easily. It came only through performance and my integrity. Uh, when I joined, he told me on later time the firm that when I joined was only 30 people, and I didn't know this. So one of the skills which I developed very early was as a professional, I did my job and I was free. So I used to go to Mr. Haribhakti, I'm free, can I have some more work? So he used to look at me with awe. He says, here's a guy who keeps asking me work. And rather than, so I used to go and say, I'm free. Then the next thing I did was I started helping my colleagues. So say, was it a tax work or was it something else? So I started saying, if you have something, can I do? I'll help you. And that's the skill I developed as a team player. And I started doing it. Then the third thing I realized there's no work. So one fine day, I walked down the street. There were no mobiles and there was no internet. I walked down the street and went to an RBI office and said, "We are an accounting firm and we do this." So he called me up and said, "Here's an opportunity," and I didn't realize. And that time, the business was 35 lakhs. He just gave me on the platter. He liked me. He liked a smiling face. He liked a positive guy and a positive attitude. He called me and said, "Can you do this work for us?" And he gave us a mandate. And perhaps I'm told that was the largest mandate Haribhakti got that time.
Wow.
And that's how I started my journey of meeting my friends and colleagues in the profession and explaining what I can do for them. And So that's my skill of building customers. So when I used to walk down the corridors of Nariman Point or 14 floors, I used to not take the lift. I used to walk the floors and see which office is in which building, come back to my office and find my friend or colleague there and try to reach out to him. That's how I started building business.
Wow. And you've
And the
always
other,
been this personality.
yeah, yeah. I think I've enjoyed so, and then Haribhakti, because of our reputation, started doing stellar work. So I started working with likes of the large legal firms, Khaitan and Company, HDFC. So I met all the right. I met senior distinguished professionals and owners in business, and I started working with them at a very early age and understood their mindset. So great experience, great experience. Of
Any
course.
challenges that you remember in your journey where you felt, oh my God, like any challenges on the way while building the firm? I'm sure there are many, but if you could share a few.
Yeah, I think one of the things which I never did, so it's on the job learning. The first job was to, so I started building clients. Now, when I started building clients, people started saying, oh, where is the team? Then I started building the team. And when I started building the team, then the question was, where is the infrastructure? So I started searching the infrastructure. Straight from Nariman Point, we came down to Andheri early days. We were ahead of time. We set up a 40,000 square feet office in Andheri, okay, and we signed a 18-year lease, and we did that. And so we started thinking differently. And the challenge was, once we got the infrastructure, we realized that we need to have working capital to funnel the growth. And that was another experience. So the learning to me is, you want to build a firm, you first need to have capital, then infrastructure, then team, and then clients. I think all Indian accounting firms started the reverse, and that's why you have a challenge of growth and size. So my experience sharing would be, if I want to start a practice today at a young age, the first thing I need to do is, what am I good at? Then multiply that with how much capital do I have, because if I want to build somebody along with me, why would somebody join me if I don't have money to pay him? So
Yep.
either I can borrow my capital, or I can put my self-funded capital, whatever I have, and then, okay, two of us or three of us, next step is uh, you know talk about our experiences in the institute platform, and this is what our skills are, or connect with friends, this is what we do, and build your social connect. And that's how you'll start going in the marketplace of saying, this is what is our team, this is what our client is. And that is how you need money for technology, you need money for infrastructure, you need money to pay your colleagues, you need to borrow capital or put your own capital. And that's how the firms can scale up. I think Indian accountants need to be clear how much capital they can put in the profession, firm, because I've never seen CA accounting firms having capital. I mean,
Yep.
partners are rich, but accounting firms don't have enough capital. They need to be well capitalized. Very important ingredient of a firm to scale up.
So how do you acquire capital? I mean, borrowing is one, then you put your own money, and so if you're someone young starting, you won't really have a lot of savings, correct?
Now, I'll give a
So,
point. So,
yeah,
today in India, there's a concept called you can take unsecured loans, partners. So you can borrow unsecured loans and put that money in the firm. The other is, the government of India has started a scheme called CGTME. It is it's an insurance scheme where, for working capital, so my receivables, I can finance from the banking system up to 90 days. And then you don't need to have your collateral of real estate or cash. So the CGTME scheme is a scheme where the government gives an insurance for startups or fresh accounting firms or fresh services companies, where you can leverage your receivables and borrow money against them. So they can set a limit for you against, just without any collateral. So up to 2 crores, 3 crores, you can raise working capital from your banking system. So there's a
that's
product available. Partners
amazing.
Capital loan product is available. You can borrow Partners Capital in personal account and put that money in the firm as your own contribution.
That's some great info. So if I want to start a CA firm, okay, there are different categories of people, right? There are some who are super ambitious, right? Then there are some who want to grow but not so ambitious, right? And there are some, who start with proprietorship. So what advice would you give to each kind of person? Because everyone does not want to be like 1,000 member firm, right? So
Good point. Good point. And there's an inflection point here. Is depending on your work-life balance and what you want to achieve in life. Are you chasing money? Are you chasing reputation? Are you chasing work-life balance? Is very important for you because everybody has different challenges in life. And I think so if I address your proprietor and I'm saying they want to have a simple lifestyle, I think a proprietor also today can survive and do well. And there are enough examples of individual brands like senior professional, if I remember earlier, was Mr. S.S. Gupta, who was well-known, renowned name in service tax, and I'm sure he is doing exceedingly well. His reputation is exceedingly going forward. Uh, so the way to do is that you excel in your capabilities in an individual product, and very important, I think Indian professionals need to understand that each services is a different product. So we need to work like a corporate. So let's understand that if you want to, we are good at, let's say, forensics. So if you forensic is your passion, first it has to come from your passion, what you like to do. You should be passionate about it, and you should read and acquire knowledge of that. Okay. So the institute platforms and global platforms with technology available with people through your platforms also acquire that knowledge and be well versed in that subject and be a subject matter expert, and then talk about your capabilities in the institute platform through case studies or through your experiences, and that's how you go out and building your reputation around being a professional. But my request to you, all of you, is even as a proprietor, you will also need to put capital because you cannot do it yourself alone. You need to use some resources and you need to pay them well. Why would somebody work with you if you don't have capital? So you need to get people. Now, capital can be three parts: profit investments, whatever profits you make, you redeploy in the firm, leverage, or your own capital. Three methods, whichever way you want to do. So you can build that and scale the firm. So technology, and you need to focus on one singular product, and that's how you scale.
would you want to emphasize a little bit on
And
technology as well?
yeah, sorry. And you said that's a proprietor partnership. You need to build a trustworthy. The trust is not, and I'll quote what another friend, mentor, friend, Mr. Narayan Murthy. He quoted once. He said, "Trust, but let somebody verify your trust." You can't sell trust by saying communicating I am trustworthy. People have to verify your trust. And trust is verified by 24 by 7 surveillance of your action, your words, and your commitments. It's very important. So if you give your commitment to your colleagues that you will do this work, you have to do it yourself. If you give a commitment, I'll pay you to your team members by this day, you must ensure your commitments. If you give your commitment to your clients and I'll deliver this, you must deliver whatever it means. Okay. And life, you need to continuously upskill yourself. Very important. You need to learn and unlearn on a daily basis. And so for a partnership, when you're building a trustworthy colleagues, you must ensure that you will take your money last. The team takes the money first. That's how you build a robust team. You decide the parameters of how you want to share money with colleagues and partners. Ensure that they get paid first before you take the money. That's how you emerge as a leader. And each partner then skills in a separate vertical, and all partners can pool their individual partners' capability, partners' capital through all the three formats of own capital, borrowed capital, and profit capital, and invest in the firm. And that's how you scale up the firm. Capital, infrastructure, team, clients. That's how you move forward. Not the
Amazing.
reverse model.
That's amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
So also when you talk about, okay, sorry, you're adding something.
The other thing I wanted to share with all of you, all my colleagues, is we need to be very clear about the 8 hours or 10 hours investment which you do in the firm. First 3 hours you must do of meeting customers. Customers meeting means talking to your existing customers, talking to new prospects, physical, online, whatever. Next 3 hours, you should practice train the trainer. You should execute work, supervise your work with your colleagues or your juniors on a daily basis. Next 1 hour, you should do self development. Next 1 hour, you should do team development. You should ensure the team practice is picking up skills. This is how you will, the 8 hour journey will never go wrong. So you have time for everything what you want to do in the work and
That's
on a
some good.
daily basis.
That's some good pointers. Okay, so now when you talk about partnership, right? We see a lot of. It's very difficult to find the right partner. Okay, so in your years of experience, you would have seen a lot of, people partnerships go right, partnerships go wrong. Okay, so is there a method to it, or it's just luck? Like, is it luck? What is
No,
it?
there is a method, and I'll talk to you a very simple thing which I observed in the last 30 years of my profession. The reason I could find my colleagues and stand with me was there's one skill which you do at home. I think what we do at home we need to practice in our profession. At home we take care. At home, Chantal, your interest is always last. Your husband,
Yeah.
your kids, your parents' interests are first. That's the same thing goes in professional life and in your organization. If you take care of the organization and your team first, in our firm and even in Haribhakti, I took my money last, and I s- I ensured that the team gets paid on time and I get paid last. Even in Radisson, everybody gets paid first. Organization all vendor payments, all whatever requirements are there are made first, and I get paid the end. So organization interest first, team interest second, your interest last. People will like you, trust you because you stand with your commitments. You don't, vacillate on your commitments. Team gets paid first, then you get paid, and that's how you build a trust. Same, it's what you do at home. You do it in the profession.
Okay,
And if you practice this skill, you'll never go wrong in building teams.
okay, and how do you find the right partner? Okay, you might practice the skills, but how do you know that the other person is aligned to you? I'm sure that person would be a good person as well, but the mindset, the goals.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. I think in today's time it's a little easy. You need to do a background check of the guy, of the person you're meeting. You need to know about his habits through social media, and you need to engage in a strike in a conversation and see if there's a fitment. Very important is to has to be a culture fit. We need to, and it's these people are not available in the marketplace. You have to search a diamond in the haystack. You need to keep meeting people and align. You see, is there a goal congruence between your thoughts and you need to share your vision. I think if you share your vision with your colleagues and if you see there's a fitment on your vision, that's how you attract colleagues and talent. It has to be a fusion of vision. Yeah. Everybody should have the same vision. You cannot run you cannot sprint at 300 kilometers an hour and somebody sprinting at 50 kilometers an hour. There's a mismatch of thought process.
Okay, okay. So also this, I have this question, okay, because you have been in one organization which has got some incredible growth for like 24 years plus. Okay, I'm sure there would have been, a lot of different in thinking, a lot of, because everyone is different, right? So did you
Very
ever,
different.
very different, right? So did you ever feel that, hey, and there could be moments where you feel, hey, I don't think this is this is the right place for me to work, and I'm sure you would be getting a lot of offers from others as well, so this is very important because this is happening today, right? Like, how do you decide between so many opportunities that's coming your way, and
Very
you
good
would have
point.
been in that situation. So,
Even opportunities today are very good, but still live and kicking for me. I think one of the things which I decided was rather than changing jobs, I'll change the organization. And I wanted to decide the customers whom I want to work with. Rather than, I don't want to work with customers where I have a reputation issue. So I wanted to choose my colleagues, my customers, and the organization which I want to work with. So I wanted to create the ecosystem around me where I can thrive as a professional. And that's something I decided very early in my life that I'll create the ecosystem which is to my liking. And you rightly said, I think one of the ways I was able to get everybody along this journey was, even now, we are 300 plus people now. And
Wow.
the way was, I always share my vision with my colleagues. This is my vision. Does it meet your vision? And I see that is there a both parties vision. I must be candid with you. It's not that we will be always right. We also go wrong. But generally, you find that when you are transparent and you are ethical and you share your vision openly, and you get the reciprocity of the same mindsets coming to you. So that makes it different for us. And but it's a continuous life journey. You need to keep continuously finding the right people wanting to work with you, whether it's employees or clients or the stakeholders around you.
Amazing. So, and also you've been like first with Haribhakti and now with Radisson, right? You've built two businesses from scratch. You've been a part of two ventures from scratch. So, has it, I'm sure it would have happened, but if you could, elaborate a little bit, has there been instances where you felt, this will speed up, but it's just not speeding up? Like, but it will speed up. So, is this normal and a part of business? Because today, most people we see around, they're excelling. We don't know what's happening inside, but funding, money coming in, it's a very different world. Everyone's on a path of immense success. So, what would you
No,
want to?
I think you said it. I find it, today's generation, the young generation today, there is a little bit of less of resilience. People are not, you know, uh, not happy generally, and I think it's got to do. You need to be eternally happy, and I sleep 8 hours. Yeah. I don't chase money. I chase good work and reputation. Money will follow. Money is an outcome. I think today's generation, because and I don't blame them, because of the onslaught of overload of knowledge, information across the globe, connected together. There's, in our days, there's not so much of connections. We're dealing in a very imbalanced environment. But even in today's time, I think one thing which is a binding force, is I think finding happiness through family or your nuclear unit or your personal colleagues. If you enjoy with them, so if you are happy at home, you are happy at work. I think you need when you come to office, you should be smiling. You should leave all the pain. Everybody has a pain. You should leave that in at home. When you come to office, you're happy. And you have to realize, remember one thing, even if it's your own business, you're only a employee of your business, because your stakeholder is your family. You are committed to the family. So when I come to office, one thought comes to me, that I'm responsible for my colleagues, my family, and my stakeholders. I have better perform. I don't want to sit on the chair as a CEO if I don't perform. If I can't perform, I better move out and put the best person in. Succession planning is something accountants need to learn also as a business. I had a chance to do one of the courses of Harvard Business School, managing and transforming professional firms. And I benchmarked my thoughts with them, and I was bingo right. And I thought, I think we need to learn succession planning. If we can't do it well, we must give the chance to somebody who's better than us do. And I find professionals not getting, people fear. If I want to train, for example, you'll come and take over my client, you'll come and take over my job, you'll make me redundant. I think creative people who create wealth, never need to worry about this. The more, and I believe in Bhagavad Gita, I'm in Hindu, the more you give, the more you get. So there's nothing to worry about in life. You need to practice the art of giving, and that's what you do at home. You give and you get more. You do that.
That's some great
Yeah.
advice. That's some great
There's
advice.
only one person who can motivate you. It's yourself. That's what my mentor told me, Mr. Deepak Pal.
Okay. So since you talk to a lot of, I'll come to the other technical parts, okay? But this is so interesting and it'll help so many, okay? So, if you could just revisit the question also, like when I said about failures, like not failures, slow growth, like, see, as you said, today everything is on our face, right? You know who's growing at what pace. But there are times where this thing is taking a while to grow, but it will eventually grow. So how do you know that, okay, let it grow at this pace without going frantic about it? That's one. Okay, like it could be CA practice. I know a lot of CA CAs whose CVs I receive, they want to shut their firm because they're like, hey, putting in so much of efforts, literally, but there's no growth. They're like, hey, I better work in the US or I better work in Dubai, and that's one. So how do you know, like, yeah, this is it?
No, good point you said. See, Shantan, one thing, they're not clear in life what they want to do. I think first clarity of purpose. So I think one of the things which I think is missing in our profession is a mentor. We need to have
Yeah.
a mentor. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to basics. How did we become CA? All of us. We became CA because somebody stood behind us with zero self-interest. Who is that person? Shantan, tell me. You became a CA. Who stood behind you without zero self-interest?
My family and myself too. My
Your
family, yes.
parents. Your
My
parents.
parents. My parents. Yeah.
The reason is, and that's what we need to do as a profession, as a senior profession. You must stand out to young professionals and say, look, if you want to practice, okay, this is what you like. The first, there has to be passion that I like to be a forensic guy. I like to be a risk advisory guy. Then somebody has to walk him, okay, you want to be a forensic guy, then this is money you need to invest continuously. This is how you should build a team. This is how you should pay. You should walk him through this. Today's generation, there's a disconnect. I mean, the seniors and the young generation, there's no confluence. That somebody will, why would I do it? Because there's a fear of unknown. I would take over you'll take over my business. And it happens.
Yep, it
Youngsters,
happens.
because of the impatience, are taking over senior professional businesses. I think you need to create an ecosystem. You need to create a sustainable business model. First, the governance of the firm has to be right. The funding has to be right. Okay. Secondly, market approach and market alignment has to be right. So all these are business tenets which has to. So is professional business? My answer is no. But it was defined in 1961. Income from business or profession. Why was profession linked to business? It is not business, but profession has to be run like a business enterprise. Means capital, infrastructure, teams, clients. We need to ensure that everything is a balance. We need to work as a corporate culture, even if it's my own firm. I'm not the owner, my family is the owner. Am I doing well justice? So they're not clear. So they will jump here, they will jump there. You need to be very clear. Success comes to those who dare and act, comes seldom to the timid. And you need to be first, you need to be clear of your goal, you should be passionate about it, and then you should seek the advice. If you want to achieve you want to be a good firm, seek advice from a mentor. Go to somebody and meet them. I want to build this. What is I'm doing wrong? What can I correct? Go and seek out. You'll find answers. And there are today a lot of people available who want to give genuine advice. Is that we don't reach out to them. So it's
True.
like if you don't reach out to somebody, nobody will give it to you. Go on.
True. True. That's some excellent advice. That's amazing. Okay.
Then nothing. If you can become a CA, you have succeeded despite all odds. You can always succeed in business or profession or a job. You need to understand what your goal combination. I think there's a lack of clarity. You believe you know everything, and technically you don't know many things. You need to reach out.
True. And there are going to be tough days by default. I mean, it's natural.
All days are not good. I believe in a 360-day journey. 60 days are good, 300 days are bad. But you need to have the tensile strength to hold on a bad day. So what? 60 days can take you for the full 1 year. Don't worry about it.
That's an excellent advice. So, okay, I'll ask you this next question, I guess, which everybody wants to know. Okay, we're talking about India's growth and India becoming this $1 trillion and some years even a 10 trillion economy, right? So, can you tell us, like, in your point of view, what is India's growth as of now? If you could just give us a brief, and why is everyone looking at India? That's one. Second one is, what roles can CA firms play in this growth? Right, and can they really leverage this growth and really scale up? Like, is there huge potential for them to become huge? Because when you talk about the US, there are so many mid-sized firms which will outbeat a lot of the Indian large firms, the in terms of revenue, in terms of scale. So why is this difference, and how long would we take to match that up?
No, good point. I think let me first address the India story. India,
Yep.
of course, is a great opportunity for 3 or 4 key reasons as I see it. I think first, the huge size of the market, 140 crore people. Everybody needs food, clothing, shelter. So there is enough of market. We are larger than most of the countries put together.
Yep.
Second is, I think, the infrastructure development, the growth. Look what you have done in digital economy. We have just today a smallest of vendor works on digital. You can make payments on digital wallets in a second, split second, which the world has not achieved. Of today, if we talk of 25 crore people or 30 crore people traveling on our flights, the sheer size of countries put together, the railway network, the sheer automation in the railway network. India is scaled up, but it has a share of problems. Huge opportunity, huge consumption market. Okay. Now, what we can do in India? I think Indian CAs need to understand and identify the gaps, like the way startups find out gaps and have created startup unicorns. We need to identify gaps. I'll give you an example of what we can do. We have seen GST being rolled out. The government is very clear, and we are all very clear that we need to have a very clear formal economy. We all need to pay our taxes. Now, errors of two types: omission or commission. Unintentionally, we have done an error, or intentionally, there are black sheep in every business or every profession must have done an error. I will have avoided. But as good professionals, we want to stay with error of omission and not error of commission. Unintentionally, somebody has missed taking input credit. We must go and rectify this. So we must build a skill of our clients that I like GST. It has to come from within. And I, three or four friends of us, we're very good in GST. We understand SAP. Okay, so if you don't know the other thing which we don't do is upskilling ourselves. Acquire your knowledge. Spend that knowledge, and knowledge cannot be read continuously because we need to everybody has the stomach. You need to understand the size of the market. What is the size of the market which you can address? So if everybody in India has a GST input credit issue, can we address this as a team? Understand. Network with friends. Raise the technology. Okay, can we use this fastest finger first and use technology and deliver GST value? That's how you scale. Keep an eye of what your market size is, what you are addressing, and Indian CAs, whatever comes they will do. If you want to be a proprietor, specialize. Even if it's a partnership, partners specialize. And there's an amalgam of specializations, legends staying together. That's how you become noticed. That's how you become the Amul of India. So, individual brands, subsets in a larger brand. That's how you scale up and build an exponential brand. Okay, invest. Okay, now the US and India comparison. I think there's no comparison. US is a very large economy, much times larger. To catch up, US will take us another, my estimate is at least 50, 60, 70 years if everything goes right, both sides of the country. It'll, so US, everything is systematic. There's a process, there's governance. I won't say everything is right. India has also got 90% things right. The only thing is the market is for accountants is small. That's why the revenue ticker is larger. Okay, we have world's largest number of accountants. They're not the world's largest. Plus, the size of each customer is large, and that's why you see the revenue accretive of mid-sized firms larger compared to. I think one of the things which we can do and you can help is collaboration of mid-sized US firms with Indian CA firms. And as you, I've been an avid watcher of your finance stories. And I see that you say you get all the right. There's a shortage of talent in US because nobody wants to do accountancy. It's a very tough job to become an accountant in India, one of the second most tough exams in India. So getting those work to India, and Indian skills are now recognized globally. So there's a confluence. Mid-sized firm, mid-size. So maybe you can create an e-marketplace or e-platform where people get connected. And you, of course, also need to build your ecosystem. You need to get paid for your time and effort and the infrastructure which you create. An eco-market system, e-commerce platform, where a small SME guy here, somebody searching a job on the platform gets on your platform. Things like that. There's a humongous. There's no shortage of work. There's a shortage of ideas and mindsets. We need to identify gaps, continuously upskill ourselves, and reach out to the market. And I think the more you meet friends and connects, the more you learn. The only way to learn is to go and meet people and learn from them. If I know what's your pain area, then can I address it? That's the way I can build a business model around it. You need to understand that.
That's amazing. That's some great advice, and I will consider it. And I remember we did have a chat about it, but then, and I'm going to take this very seriously. We should, because I've seen so much of interest, and I know I have the connects, and I know I can build it, and we could really leverage something strong, right? So,
Absolutely.
so I was talking to this guy known as Hardik the other day. He was with BDO, and he said, I said, you know what? I think I didn't know much about the outsource industry. So he's like, you know what? Only 5% is come to India. There's a whole 95% which yet has to come to India, because right now only the big guys have, outsourced or offshored their work. But there's a lot more that's there.
Deloitte, I'm told, I don't know the numbers, I can be wrong. And all the people, Deloitte has created a good story in India, have given employment to 2 lakh accountants in India. So so much of opportunity, and they are all excelling in jobs. All the big four have done a humongous job in India of providing accountants, you know, a good career and a good earnings, including the big
Yes,
six. All of them done.
yes.
And a huge opportunity. Huge
You
opportunity. It's that I think if I want to pick three, summarizations for you, okay, I think we need to ignite passion of professionals. Second, we need to, give them a direction. Somebody, I want, if you can create a platform of mentoring to
we do
accountants,
have
clarity.
we we do have
Yeah,
experts by the finance story. I've not promoted it all out, but
yeah.
we do it.
You-
I'm gonna do it.
that's a missing link. I think mentoring is a missing link. Somebody needs to, because we're all lonely at the top. Can somebody mentor us? Are we, because whom we talk to if we are going wrong? Okay, we need somebody who is selfless, who has zero self-interest, who is not here to do a transaction or build a cost on you. One of the things which I want to share with you is the customer which I used to go. I should never solicit work. I used to always understand customer pain point and come back. And if the customer called me for a proposal, I used to always put this is what I can do and leave it, and always be, never out to a game of upmanship in my life. Always leave it to them. All of us like somebody who's good, somebody who, if you see, just imagine something. If a smiling guy comes in front of you, knows his job, and says, "Ma'am, I can do this," and leave it and goes off. In today's generation, today there's no price issue. If you like somebody and like his profile, as you say, so if somebody is smiling, the first thing is when you smile, you create a positive environment. There are all negatives around you. You know, everybody tells me, nahi hoga. I always believe ye hoga. Somebody asks me, why are you so bullish? I said, because I'm going to make it happen. I know I have to work for it. So that positive attitude is very important. We need to all dispel the negativity around us. Life is all about hope. We are not hoping for a better future tomorrow. So why don't we practice it and why don't we open about it? First, passion. Second, the way we succeeded in C exams. Second is a mentoring and a structured approach of what you want to be in life. Set your goals. First 5 years, what you want to be. Next 5 years, what you want to be. Okay. Everybody wants to say, oh, we want to be, it's a generalistic statement. We want to be the best brands, best earnings, and best, retirements, 50 million, 100 million. It's all wish list. Good. It's a good wish list. What is your transformation from a wish list to actual reality? The way we pass the exam, we set a goal.
Yep.
One of the things which I observed in Reliance, I like that company. Reliance has always set a goal and worked backwards. And that's what we did in our lives. As CAs, set up a goal and we work backwards. So all my life I set goals. One of the things which we did in Haribhakti, I must share this with you. We wrote out a story saying in this year we'll do this, in this year we'll do this, and by 2030, 25, I will retire. And prophecy, I moved out of the firm in 2012.
Wow.
So we wrote a story and then we worked backwards. And that credit goes to Mr. Haribhakti. He came with very innovative ideas. And one of the things, the reason I could grow, and I'm very candid with you, is because I earned my freedom with him. That's a very important statement. You earn your skill, leadership, you earn your freedom. Okay? And he gave me a free hand to build the firm.
Wow.
And that's the same thing I'm doing here in Radisson. We have free hand. We have confluence of ideas. I promote youngsters. I ensure that they get the opportunity. I take the first risk. Before telling them to take risk, I take the last money last. All these are skills to build a world class company.
Amazing. Amazing. I have so many questions. I think we should do another session on, client acquisition, getting clients, because a lot of people face challenges in that, and you said there's no one to mentor. So we could do probably a Zoom event, and we have a lot of people in our connects who have CA firms, so we could invite them, and we could really do something of that sort. I guess mentoring is key. Like no one talks about CA firms' growth. How could they grow? What is needed? It's just left. So it's because the country is growing and you say there's great opportunities, right? So we should. So also, sir, I want to ask you about what are the great opportunities? Okay, now, like when we talk about FMCG, we know India is booming. There's a great growth for FMCG. You should start getting into FMCG. We know all of these things that's happening. But when it comes to CA firms, like what is the growth can I expect? What can one expect, and how could
No,
one really, in terms of growth, what figure do you have in mind?
I'll share with you. I'll share with you what's ailing the market, because what I find is customers coming and telling us they don't have choice. CAs coming and saying they don't have work. For example, you said there's not enough opportunities. We know none of us have found out how to connect these two dots. Customers are saying they don't have choice. CAs are saying there are not enough opportunities. Nobody is inventing why there is no connection between the two dots. Answers lies there. Answers lies there. Why would somebody say that there is no work? Because if you go and talk to 10 clients and they say, so one of the answers is, if you have, let's say, if your friend is a CFO of a large company, did you go and talk to him or her and ask her, supposing you were to appoint us for this work, what is the skill sets you need? That
Never done.
lies the answer.
I've never done this.
That lies the answer, Shanta. There lies the answer. And then you realize, I don't have this. That's why. Now, the next question, if I don't have this, how do I get this? It's the same the way you pass your exam. Okay. He wants 20 SAP trained guys who can audit my company. So I need to have a tax guy, and this guy, a corporate manager. Okay. Let's call up my friends. Can we join together and let's individual skills. Let 20 of us go and talk to the customer. See how the customer will. The first meeting will not give you the business. Third meeting you will get this business. That's how it is.
We
As
need to.
simple as this. Yeah.
Yep.
And then arm yourself with latest tools, latest skills, latest knowledge. If you go and say, I know companies like 1956, not existent. If you don't know how to audit in a SAP environment, you're not available. If you don't understand Index, not available. Now the point is, I must be candid with you. CAs have struggled to become a CA.
Yep.
Now they don't realize, they think now it's time to build career and money. Good, absolutely. A professional needs to be continuously working with his tools. Most of the CAs don't even own a laptop. Buy a laptop. You can buy a mobile. You don't want to buy a laptop. You say that the company has to give you. Why? Buy it yourself. It's your tool. Your asset. You will get a lot of plethora of knowledge. So it starts as basic as this. Now, the flip side is the industry is giving you a job. So the moment you become CA, a fresher, you get a job. Now, You don't want to work. At the same time, you want to be your own boss, but you don't want to invest. You don't put the tools. Then how will you? Neither you want to be an employee, neither you don't want to be an entrepreneur. You are falling between the cracks. That is the problem. Because there's no mentoring. There's no clarity what you want to do. So there's enough of work. There's no shortage of work domestically and globally. The world is at your feet. You don't need too much of rocket science on this. You need to first understand where are the cracks, where are we falling in. A 40-year-old CA doesn't want to reinvent himself. The government of India has given so much opportunities. There's insolvency. There is valuation. There is so much opportunity. ESG certification. So forget about the world. There's so much in India. Why do everybody want? Why does everybody want to go to the Big Four? Because all the customers want to go to the Big Four because they are getting them because they are getting serviced by them. There's no choice. That's what I want to tell you. They don't have a choice in the marketplace. If I want to sign audit of a large company, do I have 25 or 40 people who understand SAP, risk, internal controls framework, INDAS? Can I go and do that? All of us want to be auditors of a large company. But, okay. Now, last question to this is, you not understood the waterfall concept. If 100 is my revenue, 40 is my cost, 20 is my operating cost, balance 20% is for investments, and balance 20%, 5% goes to tax, 5% goes to capex, 5% goes to research, and 5% goes for valuing the goodwill of the firm. The firm needs to have liquidity. How many of us follow this waterfall concept? None. We remove all the money from the firm. It's bad money. We are very self-centered. We need to correct that.
What about this issue that a lot of CA firms face? Clients not paying them. That's also a big. Is
Never.
that
If you deliver value, clients to me in our firm we get paid 7 days, 15 days, maximum 1 month. That's it. Period. You need to be very clear with what you're delivering, and you need to be. I remember if they're not paying, still you find sticky clients. Follow legal process. The law gives you the update. In India, I'll give an example. There's an MMSE SME Act which say that you register yourself as an SME. The services companies can register, which gives you protection that if you don't get paid in 45 days, they are obligated to pay you with interest of 21% per annum. Follow the legal process. You get it.
okay? Amazing. So we have this one question from Krishnan. Okay, he says, I'm a forensic auditor, but the work is not generated since in banks the tender with lower fee I can't get it. So any solution?
A good point. See, the tender, of course, will go to the L1, but today it's not only don't chase bank work, build yourself in other markets. Forensic audit is not restricted only to tendering work. I know largest of forensics. I mean, all companies today, if they want good intro audits, they want a tinge of forensic experience. There's the frauds being happening. There's enough work for that. Chase that. What is the tools you're using as a forensic auditor? Can you demonstrate that? Please demonstrate that. Go and meet your customer or prospect and say, this is what I can do, this is my tools, and leave it at that. 10 failures, 12th success will be yours. Okay. You increase the size of your market. Increase the size.
Okay.
Don't
So
feel dejected. Don't feel dejected.
you should not feel dejected. That's important.
At all. At all.
I like this. 10 failures, 12th will be yours. So it's not like 10 successes and 2 failures. It's the ratio is.
Look at all the biography of the world's greatest leaders. Everybody has failed for a long time and then they succeed once. It takes time. People test you. You become nerves of steel. We all became CAs. Just tested our nerves. No? Do that. Be passionate about it. Be passionate. Hold it. Hold your purpose, what you want to achieve in life. That's it. You'll succeed.
Amazing. So, would you want to give any closing messages, to CA firms in anything which you would, I know you've shared a lot, but anything else you think you would want to?
I want to tell everybody, don't give up. Be clear what you want to achieve in life, and most importantly, be ethical. Be an ethical performer. You'll stand out in the marketplace. Okay? There are very few who can stand out as an ethical performer. Stand out as an ethical performer. Let the world know. See, there is a banyan tree and there is a small sapling growing under the banyan tree. The sapling decides not to be crushed. It's trying to grow on that level. Be that. Never fear that you're small. Nothing is small or big. It's a mindset issue and an attitude issue. Self-motivation is the most important. Self-motivation, not crossing the line of arrogance. Okay? Be motivated. Expand your reach. Expand your market. If you failed 10 times, you'll succeed 11 times. We all succeeded in life. There's nothing to worry about. Yeah? But passion, goal post has to be clear. We are not clear. We are deciding to chase money. We are deciding, of course, it's not easy. It's not easy. Enroll your family members in your decision making. Tell your wife or your parents that I want to do this. It will take me time, but I will succeed one day. But you have to stand out with me. You succeed. Invest. Invest. Time, effort, and money to scale your business and your ideas.
That's amazing.
Every day you need to invest. Every day you need to learn and unlearn. And every day you need to grow. And every day you need to be positive.
That's great. Okay, I have this question for you. It would help probably others as well. You have a lot of mentors, who have achieved a lot in their own right, and so have you, right? So when you talk about motivation, about the failures, so if things don't go right, it's by default it hurts because you put in time, efforts, money. Okay, it hurts. Okay, so then how do
When
you?
it hurts me also.
So
At
then
this
how do
age
you?
and profile, it hurts me. I'll share with you what I do. I'll tell you my secret. I put a hand on my shoulders of my friends and say, friend, Are yaar, today was a bad day. So you just observe the Indian cricket team. So if they've, they lost a match or they lost a ball or they lost a wicket, you just come on each other and say, we'll succeed one day. Okay. And even if you're a proprietor, go to your family and say, don't worry, I'm only coming. That gives you the key. That's why I keep myself motivated.
Okay, okay, and this is one trait that can help anyone in their. It's a. Okay. Okay, amazing. Cool. So, any other messages, we'll also make an article out of this. We'll also edit the video and put it out, right? Because I don't think a lot of people will be able to watch it right away live. So, my point is, what is your message to others? How do you think CA firms, what do you say? How could we help each other and, be a part of that entire community? Like, how do we build a community? Like, we have a lot of other meetings and everything, by ICAI and everything, but what do you think is missing and that can be done?
I think a very good point you said. Let us create a platform where, and I think the only way to, see every, if there's something for somebody, then they like it. It cannot be a generalistic or a speech or an ovation sharing platform. Let's create a platform. And I'll give one simple thought. I've been toying with this idea. I want to create a network of all the CA communities, whichever geographies they're working with. Hello?
So I'm there.
Ah.
Yeah.
Whichever geographies they're working with, and understand each other's skills and document that skills and go to the marketplace and say, I have 200 CAs who have these skills. I can do this for you. And then I get the business and then give it to everyone. And share it openly. This is what and I want to be very clear, or you, for example, create that platform. We say aggregate. What Ola and Uber did, they ensured all the drivers and all the get money, and customers made money. Let's just assume the government of India gives us a mandate to audit all the national highways, collections. We go and say to the government of India, we are 2,000 well qualified CAs. This is our profile. This is where each location we can do. This is what we have achieved, and the work is all ours. And the work will come to us. We will not succeed the third time. There is no choice. The work will have to come to us because we are an aggregator of 2,000 CAs across India, understanding national highways, audit procedures. Finished.
That's amazing.
Do that. And second, ensure that we do, if most important, mentoring, mindset change. I think most of the professionals today are having a challenge of mindset issues.
Yep.
Mental health issues, because we come through a very hard experience, and if we don't create cash, there's a peer pressure at home. See, all these are linked. Yeah. And our institute, our government is also proactively supporting it, and they'll further support it because we'll go with the right questions to them and they'll support our ideas. One of the things which I'm also toying is, can we create a incubation fund to give money to accounting firms to build their businesses?
But is that allowed by ICAI? I mean, is that possible?
We are giving that. We are creating that. It's a CA community fund where prosperous CAs give money for building firms to others, and they get the money returned. No? It's like a equity investment to build the firm. Or we can request an institute alma mater to create a fund where whoever meets the criteria gets access to money as capital. And these are new ideas.
Because capital is the biggest issue, like from what I've seen. Like, earlier I didn't realize this, but most people do CA because everything else is expensive. Of course they like finance, but CA is a course which is so reasonable. So when you want to start your own practice, you don't really have working capital of 1-2 crores easily available. It's
I
10
shared
lakhs.
with you ideas. I think
Yeah.
I shared with you ideas. You can get CGTME limits from the bank. You can borrow partners capital loan. You can take all this. But no CAs invest in the firm. You need, one of the ways they invest is profit retention. But that takes long to build. You need the initial impetus to build a firm.
Okay, that's a good idea. Cool. I'll definitely connect with you and I'll meet you again. And I mean, and we should do something. I mean, it would be amazing.
Sorry, I
We,
just shared very
yep.
simple thought processes. I don't know whether you and your audience likes it, but I just thought I would share what I know.
No, because as you said, what everyone's missing is that motivation, that guidance, right? There's nobody to guide you through. What are you supposed to do? Because
That's
there's
from
no.
the team side, and from the customer side, we've never gone and asked customers why. What do you think we need to do to become eligible to be servicing you? All the answers right there. Work
Yep.
backwards.
Yep. I guess if you have a mentoring or a group, like something, it really helps. So there's a genuine give and take, not like, like a competitive mindset where, hey, you're just out there. So I guess that will help. Because we also have a recruitment firm, right? And we receive so many CVs from CAs, brilliant guys, like big fours and everything. They've quit to start their own, but there's no, they're like, yeah, after doing all the efforts, you're just making 30 lakhs. Like that's still a very small amount because you can get paid 40-50 lakhs in the market that we are in today, right? So
You see very clear. If you want to leave a job and join it, are you prepared for investing capital you'll not earn? All those questions need to be addressed upfront. And do you have the skills to build business? I think one of the things which I could succeed because I'm also an MBA, a CA MBA. So it's a very different problem. You need to understand. You need to understand the big picture. That also is-
amazing. So yes, sir. I mean, thank you so much for your time and some
Thank you.
amazing advice. Technical knowledge and all this advice we can get. It's always available somewhere or the other. You get it, but this first-hand information of you building two organizations from scratch. So that's really precious. So thank you so much for the time. I'm really
Thank you.
charged. I think more than
Thank you.
anyone else, it has helped me also.
Thank
So yeah,
Thanks.
thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you, sir. Thank you
All the
so much.
best. I'm sure you'll be a successful entrepreneur yourself. You'll be exceedingly
Really.
well.
Thank
I'm
you.
an avid fan of Finance Story.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Means a lot.
Bye.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
I'll call you soon. Yeah. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.